proper camera. Oh, 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 center. Oh, damn it. Forgot my notice thing. So irritating. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here, noseness. My head will deflate without you. Not have my head deflating. Must maintain ego. Must. Hello, homely. My head will deflate without this. Must maintain my Ted Kennedy look. Like a jack-o'-lantern. What I do is get a big head. Big head. Like, into the big head. Oh, no. Okay. Edward. Gordo. Do that every time. I have candy. Candy. I should be eating candy so late at night, but I'm going to eat candy. I want to see how it pairs with my beer. Nope. Yum. Lens flare! Power! 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 Oh, it was a long day. I'm so tired. Nope. I'm going to lose a finger if I keep doing that. Gotta be careful. Away from the bear trap. Hershey Kisses. Hot chocolate. It frankly just tastes like milk chocolate. It's supposed to have a marshmallow center, I think. Yeah. It doesn't really taste like hot chocolate. It tastes like a Hershey Kiss. The lava cake one's okay. What I like was cordial. Cherry cordial. Of course, it's awesome because it's chocolate and cherry. Food reviews. Yeah, sort of. I figured. I'm pretty beat. I'll eat a bunch of candy, drink a beer, and I'll be able to stay up for a bit and chill before coming home and going right to bed. Or this is probably way too much candy. Could have stuck with like 3. But I had to wash off the bag. That's why I have a nose hose. Gosh, anyone know the lava cake ones? Yeah. Lava cake. The last one. The cherry cordial one were better. They went first. These are filled ones, so they're no, they're stuck in my beard.
Gooey center.
Just like a caterpillar. Crunchy on the outside, gooey center. Okay. And then this. Oh, Gary gave me this. My be backwards. Make beer great again. Make America drunk again. Don't do that, though. We have enough problems. So, before we get started, whenever I feel like I'm going to talk about, which is almost spilling beer on my computer, I am slowly getting addicted to some of the beers from a company called Flying Dog. They made my last coffee stout, which was absolutely amazing. I thought that was great in Cujo. And now they came up with cookies and cream milk stout. And I was like, okay, I'll buy this. Why not? You don't really get like the cream flavor as much, but you do get like an Oreo kind of thing. Not exactly. Do not use such language. I can use such language. You cannot use such language. It's not good. It's delicious. As you can tell, I really do like it. It's good. Okay. So, oh boy. Oh, get some cream for your bird. Flatten them toes. Uncle, I'm not father yet. Father Con. Technically, I think it's pastor or preacher. I'm not entirely sure. I know it was ordained, so whatever that is. But I I don't have a collar anymore. I gotta get another collar. You should order one. It'd be funny as hell. Go to Endor and start. How did Clowney get kicked out of Endor? Well, okay. So, who here has seen the new release pictures? Probably everybody here of that Pulse or Vague or whatever it's called. I was ordained in the Church of the Dude. I actually have to look it up because I need to get the certificate mailed to me again. I need the actual certificate. I have to go look it up. I'll just change that up. But who here has seen the pictures of those things, man? Like I don't know. I can't pull them up on my screen. I don't have the technology, unfortunately. But they are just not. I mean, like they look kind of pulse. That was called the pulse. Yes, the pulse. Yeah, the pulse stuff. The pulse. Like I heard a couple people talking and saying that they're already like, yeah, well, cool, right. Excuse me, that makes you burp, man. Sorry. They're like, rivals make go away. Make go away. And what's he gonna do to rival? Hyper. Like, oh my God, it keeps coming out. Hyper. Yes. God. So I was. Let me get my thoughts together on this. First off, people said that they were worried that it's going to replace Rival. I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea. I think it was already going to happen anyways with something else because I've said it before. I don't know if I said it on here. I know I've said to people that I was in conversations and things that Rival to me always felt like a test bed of things to do. Like it started out like with they did the idea that it was going to be paintball and poke that up and stuff, and then they put out a lot of different blasters kind of fast, right on top of each other. One was on top of this, made the last one obsolete. This made the last one obsolete, and they then all of a sudden just kind of like they died, like they were really rushing, getting all this stuff out here. Macabro, everybody, Macabro's here. Dear Professor Macabro has his own channel now. So feel free, Professor, to plug your channel here. Get the address up there so we can subscribe to your channel. Get the other guy. Well, I like him and all, but you got to get your numbers up too. Yeah, yeah. One of these days, I'm going to have an interview with Professor Macabro. We'll have have a little thing here, so it should be fun to get an interview with him. But I was always thinking that Rival wasn't going to stick around like the darts were, and it was just like a test bed of stuff. And lo and behold, here comes Hyper. And I was thinking that they were going to do some kind of short dart competitive thing and just take that route in. Nerf would go that way, but apparently they did not, and they went with even smaller balls. Now, you can kind of get a look at to see how big they are. I mean, they're obviously not as big. And I'm trying to find a rival round over here somewhere and blindly feeling it up, blindly sticking my fingers through the box looking for balls. Stayed for the well, it's a great idea. It shows on the box the guys got the rival round here. And like we all know what they are. The pulse rounds, it shows you can kind of compare by the hand. It looks like they're roughly as big as a fingernail. So I'm feel pretty confident saying they're probably about the half a size as rival. I wouldn't be surprised if they were near the same diameter as a regular dart, because I have some theory on stuff like that over cross compatibility, inadvertent cross compatibility, or already have things worked up within those parameters. Yes, we are, Professor, talking about those new hyper blasters. And if I'm going on my thoughts about the ammunition at the moment, the blasters, they're just more rival stuff. And they went with the 1-2-3 pistol shotgun full auto right off the bat, which makes me wonder what they're going to be doing in the future. You'll probably have a higher capacity and then like another offering of pistol or something like that. But the next thing up will probably end up being a large, very large capacity like the Prometheus was or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. These feel like something that to me like they might be something that sticks around for a while, but it also feels like they might still be missing the mark. Or they went like they were doing something then tested something else. Because, like I said, with Rival, it always felt to me like it was never meant to stay. They were testing the see what they could do with red versus blue, and now that they basically got their answer, they can do this hyper thing. And I don't know. I honestly, the whole new type of ammunition again, more ammunition, different types, new that just that irritates the hell out of me. What potential? The ultraline had so much potential. Oh yeah, the ultraline was great for potential. I mean, on paper it looks great, but so does communism, and that's why dictators. Quote from Master Shake: This is not a democracy. It's a dictate. It's a dictatorship, and I rule with an iron dick. Even smaller rounds going to make the group iPro more difficult. Yeah, like more iPro, even more stuff lost. The Wallcoms video said they were 18 cents a round. Like, yeah, it doesn't seem that bad in the box altogether, but if the rounds hold 100 rounds and your blaster has a capacity of 40, you have less than 2 refills to refill your blaster with the thing with the refill pack you just bought, which was like $7, $8 after taxes, basically. So you have to buy a couple of them, and then there's none of these coming out. Like, well, none of these, and there's no aftermarket to these things. And it took a long time to get decent aftermarket rival rounds, and I'm pretty sure. I'm pleading Joker. Joker's pleading the fifth for now and not happy. Yes, I could imagine you are not happy. I very much want to hear your screaming opinion on this. Yeah, what are you gonna do with the ball picker upper? I don't know, like, oh my god, like, okay, so here's a good question. I wish he was on here, put him on the spot. Out of darts, waited a long time to get the Proton pack up and running, and everyone's been excited because this thing's coming out, even though other people have built Proton packs. His is mass produced and ready for consumption on the public because he wanted to make sure it was universal across the board with parts and builds, so everyone could get one. Shrunk, like, you're gonna have to, if you get your hands on things, stuff like that, or stuff that he built like that, you are now stuck buying aftermarket rounds because there's a good chance that this might disappear or get hard to find. Now they continue to make those, but if they're not viable rounds and stuff to sell anymore, aftermarket companies are gonna start slowing down production on things like that, and it's going to be hard to get. And the rival round may go the way of Boomco, which would be awful because you have to retool everything that he made down to the smaller rounds, which might not be too hard considering it's you can put them up in CAD and kind of like redo the walls, but you got to do all your testing and stuff all over again, all the piping, everything like that. Anything he built is just going to have to be redone, and I feel really bad if that ends up being the case. And people are like, "Oh, that's not going to be an issue." No, I'm a doomsayer. I am a doomsayer through and through, and I predict that's something that's got a real likelihood of happening. Scary thing I saw them if they were like are all biodegradable meant for single use. Yeah, I seriously doubt that they are biodegradable and meant for single use. Now, Airsoft has bio rounds, but from what I understand, the bio rounds they are horrible. I'll be hyper league Joker after this. Probably Vargas. Hey Vargas, you've heard you got the channel all to yourself now. Oh yeah, they would have to be biodegradable since a lot of those will be lost. Yes, yes, they would be. But I seriously doubt there is. I'm pretty sure there's a fair amount of these things floating in Garbage Island somewhere at the moment. Most definitely. I'm guaranteed that. Yeah, and that's another thing too. So this. Uh, we police our darts and things like that after picking them up to get these rounds. This is going to make it harder for us to police our rounds at public parks. One of the things we get away with doing this is because we usually tend to leave the parks cleaner than when we left. I know when I nerfed with the Jersey crew, we picked up garbage and stuff too, or at least some of us did, most of us did, picked up garbage and stuff as we went around. Yeah, I'm not necessarily from the good look either, Eduardo. For sure, you're going to start with you. Yeah, outdoor will be horrible. And I'm really, really feeling that uh, these things growing like a plague across fields because the rival rounds already represented a problem with picking the things up as they were, and we got the weasel, the roller weasel, in order to do that. No, not weasel, the roller weasel able to do that. But if we can't find a way to pick the something up that's probably at least I'm going to say about like I said half the size of this, or at least a 50 caliber square. I mean 50 caliber rounded. Oh yeah, and that's yeah. There'll be some or animals start biting these things, or some pet comes by and each one and chokes to death on anything, or God for well the squirrels. My mom's at war with the squirrels, but like the squirrels get a hold of these things like that, man. Oof. Like I don't know. I mean, they're going to be harder to pick up. They're going to be harder to see, and they're with the bright yellow color. We won't see them immediately until it goes on later. And if the field's played on 6 or 7 times in the course of a year, twice a month, easy, 2 to 3 times a month, maybe at least twice, that's going to be a lot of these things laying around. And we found darts, older foam darts, and from when we used to pick them up at parks I went to when we played with dome heads and things like that. We still found them there, and we cleaned those up. These are going to be a freaking nightmare everywhere. Yeah, Chokin goes right out. Can't see it going out the other end there. That's going to be a definite. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't ever have. I'm always cautiously optimistic overly cautiously optimistic over everything like these, and I'm honestly not digging this new idea. The No, I would have thought they were going to go short dart, and it would have been nice. I wonder if they had planned to go gel ball at some point, and because of the thing happening in China and then Australia, if they just screw it, we're not going gel ball, we're going to do rubber ball, and that's even worse. What if they're I don't know how many people on this channel will actually remember this. What if they're like the rubber ball shooters of my day? They weren't they were bigger than 6, I'd say 8 to 9 millimeter, and they were hard rubber. They were hard rubber balls. And what if they're things like that, where they came on that little grape? It was a piece of molding injected, and then they just filled it in, and you would snap them off like grapes down the line. And I'm wondering, cheers, choking. No, don't choke on these things, buddy. I'm wondering if they're even going to be foam, because that's an awfully small thing to be foamed. I mean, technology and stuff is better than what it could be, but it'll take you 5 years. It'll take 5 to 10 years. So it still hurts the environment. Yeah, just because it's biodegradable doesn't mean it goes away quickly. Yeah, yeah, that's part of the issue. It's going to take it. That's under optimal conditions too. That would be amazing, but I'm wondering if they're not just going to be just flat out rubber. I mean, if they're just flat out rubber, then we have an entirely new issue of stuff going around there. And anybody of my age can remember the blasters that shot those things, because your friend wasn't allowed to use it with you when you played with him. He could, I mean, he had to be on a team by himself. It would be funny if they turned out they just rounded dart tips. The B blasters with copper-colored rounds. Yeah, yeah. Nerf ties in with Daisy and Crosman. Yes, yes, Eduardo. That is exactly the damn things I'm talking about. The rubber BB gun rounds. Those things hurt. The stun rounds, the safe indoor rounds. If those things are like that, I mean, like I don't see them being passed through flywheels easily, but I can't imagine Nerf going back to a plunger system like the Stampede and doing it that way, because producing something that and having it run together and run is more complicated than putting two wheels side by side and just squeezing and having it shoot out like that, which makes a hell of a lot more sense to me. I feel that's why they haven't gone back to any of that stuff, because save my heart. I'm kidding, because they haven't done anything like the Stampede ever again. It's just cheaper to put the single. And I'm surprised a lot of times they're still using 2 motors and not one single motor and have it geared over to the other side. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why one of the reasons we started modding stuff in the first place is because we wanted range and power. And I don't know. It's a maybe this year at APOC, I should start questioning some of these guys, or set up my computer and question some of these guys that were part of the original crew from the 2 coasts, like Nerf Haven and whatever the other one was out there. Get the 2 coasts and get them from Armageddon and APOC and have a discussion with the old blood, the original OG Vanguard that came in before me, the guys that brought all this stuff out when they only had springers. The only thing you could use was a night finder because with speed loading flip because there wasn't anything else to be done. When things like when the Doomsayers came in and they changed the game entirely because there was something it could do rapid fire. And now I'm wondering, it's just funny to think that we've in a relatively short time, it's been pushed to a point within my hobby lifetime that I am now worried for the hobby turning into a full blown sport and going the way of airsoft and losing its fun. We are a thing that is rooted in parks and fun and recreation where you don't have to cohere to a mill sim or anything that's crazy or have anything that's overly powered, and you can buy stuff off the shelf even before like the Nexus Pro, and you can just run out and play and have fun with this. And the longer I see this going, the more I see that stuff in play. And if you don't believe me, just read the forums and see how many kids ask questions like, what is this? What is the FPS limit for the club I should set? Because they think, and they'll use things like the legal term. What do we always have set? When they don't know any better anymore, that it is not a set across the board. It is just what you want to do with it, which makes it interesting, to say the least. I get the feeling sometimes I'm watching this collapse upon itself. I gotta believe that there's still a market for vintage ammo and Velcro darts and stoves. I want bigger balls. Well, first off, I've been there, Ryan. Bigger balls are a huge issue, especially when you try to get back in the bed and they get caught in the plastic. It's, it's and yes, young kids are stupid, Macabro. I entirely agree with my professor. However, they don't get any smarter if you don't educate them. And my initial response is usually to not help, and I want to slap them across the back of their head. But then you give a viable response, and they don't get it. They can't understand it. They're like like and this is something that still bothers me to this day. A year, 2 years ago, maybe I was at an event in something called Zombie Days in I want to say Reading, but I know I'm wrong. I was up with Blair County House of Nerf, and they had something called Zombie Days in town, and Blair County House of Nerf the uh, and the local ordinance of like YMCA type people ran an event. They put it on for them in an empty parking lot, an empty building spot that was an actual selection. One of these Kool-Aids is poisonous. They're all poisonous. Only the dumb kids will know this. It was shortly after I built the rum page, and I brought it with me because every blaster I've ever built has that I play with or built. I prefer to war test them. I like them to get a kill. I wanted to get at least one tag with the blaster before I hung it up because I don't want to drop it or something. Have it, as much as I love playing with it, it's, let's face it, it's a pretty thing to look at. So, and this, like, these kids are looking at it, they're laughing like this, and this one kid comes up, and he's like, "What's the point of this?" I'm like, "It's a cannon." He's like, "Yeah, so what's the point of it?" I'm like, I pump it up and I shoot it. He goes, "How do you shoot it?" And I hit the skull on top and it's a cannon. He's like, "Well, that's stupid. Why don't you put a trigger on it?" I'm like, because it's a cannon. Cannons don't get triggered. Well, there should have been a fuse. I'm like, well, you can't put a fuse on it because you can't light it on fire. Well, then you shouldn't have made a cannon. It doesn't seem like something you can go out and win a war with. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, this kid's got to be maybe 10 or so. And I'm like, the point of playing isn't winning a war. The point of playing is having fun. He's like, well, then you're kind of an idiot. I guess it's cool then. And walks away. And I'm like, what the crap? Every kid there was having a blast with this stuff, just having fun. And they accepted the fact that it's just stupid the way. It doesn't matter. It's stupid. And this kid's like, you can't win playing that. That's no fun. And I'm like, what a sad generation that was. And that has bothered me for that day ever since. That this one kid just didn't get it. And he's the people that are going to be targeting getting things like this in smaller fashion. If it goes into what do they call it, competitive play, if this breaches the thing the competitive play needed, and this breaches into it, this kids like him will be the ones that will destroy this hobby and just basically destroy the hobby aspect of it. That we don't condone any. Do you have any community that got together here or here? Oh God, that would be a great person. I've never been able to. We've never been to a Nerf event. I've never been to a Nerf. We don't have any community. We're here for the plague. Yeah, I've been having trouble getting set up in here. There's a local youth group, but I don't know how much group they actually youth. Uh, it doesn't. It's a small town, so I'm not sure how much they actually pull things in. Which is, I don't know. It's just kind of like going back and forth between multiple topics wherever they go here. And I don't know if I have enough beer to continue doing so. Well, the answer is no. I don't have enough beer. Oh well. I'm not getting up either. So that's kind of my take on the new Hyperline aesthetic loads. That just go over it. Basically, it means your Uncle Clowny is worried for the same thing he was worried about Rival. Anybody that plays HVZ that uses these rival rounds is probably going to end up switching out to the other stuff eventually. But it's kind of funny because, let's face it, you don't get to play HVZ your entire life. You pretty much play through college. If you're in college, it's going to be playing it. So there's that. Or you continue to play on. I'm not just saying it's on, but yeah, I mean, I'm worried that beers cause answer whole life problems. Yeah, especially that beer. That's good beer. It's only time will tell. We'll see if smaller rival rounds end up being a problem or not. You know, my friend, take it from me. 1,100 cores of bad or that money. You're a millionaire master. Yeah, well, everybody needs some kind of transportation. And as Robin Williams put it, Patch Adams, or I thought I could use my penis as a pogo stick, at least to be a moken of looking. I thought I could light my farts and fly to the moon, or use my penis as a pogo stick, at least to be a form of locomotion or a way of getting around. I love that quote. Absolutely love that. That's probably my favorite Robin Williams quote. Don't sweat it. On to some horrible news. I don't know if anybody in here is subscribed to Broke Nerfing's channel. He's kind of down at the moment. He had a good setup and stuff to go, and had to take care of some business quickly, and walked out. And apparently, somebody had decided to alleviate him of his equipment and his own things. I guess they knew better from what it was. He didn't name anybody or really get into it. My guess is because it's just not much news. I because of where he lives, so I'm not going to get into that. But I have a feeling that it may have already been pawned, or a type of pawning for kind of project. Not him, not him, not him. Make it perfectly clear. Somebody may have decided to trade it for something that is not very legal or be able to get it back. So I believe that's probably what happened to his stuff. Though if anybody here has an older laptop that they are willing to part with that they don't need anymore, I would send him mine, but it's still fritzed out. I can't get it to work until I made sure the thing works properly. I would very wish you would contact me, and we'll see what I could compensate. Find even definitely monetarily compensate to hopefully maybe find him a laptop that he could run his stuff on because he is called broke nerfing, so it's kind of in the name where he most likely will not be able to. Oh God, that beer is burpy. Will not be able to great, not be able to reproduce to to find one himself easily. Yeah, yeah, seeing people steal Amazon packages most likely. So if anybody has a lead on cheap, used, or busted up laptops or something that's something that's going to work, please send me a message and we'll see if I can help. I got some other friends of mine digging around on sites and things like that, looking for refurbs and things. I normally just go out to the local Saturday's market, but sadly enough, my Saturday's market has closed when the first closed due to COVID and people not being able to get in and get the numbers up to get people in there because they can't maintain the doors open when the place was literally packed assholes at elbows. So it sucks because there was so much like computer guy was there and the DVD guys and they're just a perfect market. Great market. And the food. Oh God, forget about it. Freaking Dutch stuff everywhere. Dutch babies, barbecue, just yeah. God. The computer guy was everybody's savior in there. He took refurbs and sold them off. So just do me a favor, guys, and put your feelers out there and see if you can locate something. Then, if you can, let a good old Clowny know, and we'll see if I can strike a deal with a third party. It would be great. What other news can we get into today? Shoot. Today I shot my first tube. Um, I think that's the line. I can't remember the line. Oh, I'm trying to build up a bunch of blasters in the back to get things started up. I have one more built. I did build my mask. Get that somewhat done. I have to make a thing for the back of it because there goes my rival round, my one and only rival round. A plate because it goes up on the back of your head. So I needed a plate in order to hold it. So I had to make one. So this will be a cranial plate that goes back here that holds it in place. This is pretty much done. I can't wait to get it finished and I can do a review on it. Along with getting the parts for the Viper together, which will be good. Ah, well, Nerf guy on a bench. Do me a favor, send me a message. Send me a message on the thing that says so I don't forget. Either to me or to the other me, which is actually Clowny would technically be the other me, but That's all according to birth certificates, but you know what I mean. I just send it to Clowney. Let me know, and we'll see what we got going on here because I have some spare cameras and things like that. And I was kind of surprised kind of things like this, but he doesn't watch my videos anyway. Nobody watches my videos. Yeah. On more disappointing news, I had a friend of mine from work. It's a guy comes in by the name of oh, damn it, see, I always do that. He comes at Roy, and he's a local DJ musician kind of guy. He's kind of getting put through the ringer because of all this right now. He can't produce events and things. I had him look up a movie because my sister-in-law was the only person who's ever heard of it, which surprised me. It was a movie called Wizards. Uh, if you don't know what it is, just look it up, watch it, absorb its message, and be happy about it. And then watch the other movies that the guy did. Cool World is actually probably the only one that really hit mainstream. Everything else was 70s kind of stuff, and it was out there. Some of them, a lot of them deal with sociological things and stuff like that, like Nazis and bigotry, and uh, they're pretty cool. I mean, I've actually seen a couple of his movies. Now, there was a lot more than that, but I was looking for the soundtrack to it, in particular on vinyl. I found it a few of them, but they were way out of my price range, and I put him to it because he's a audiophile, and he managed to find some, but they were all like out from Germany, and like to get them shipped over here safely and stuff was going to cost a fortune. So it puts him back up in the $200 range. So that was another one of those things. Like a day or two ago, I was like, "Cool, hey, you're back." He's like, "I kept looking." So now I'm going to have to make a little thank you thing for him for something. I think I might do up one of my skeletons playing a guitar or a classic guitar or something, or DJing or like listening to albums, which would be albums actually be kind of cool. Like I would get to make a record player, which would be really cool. I'm sitting back in a beanbag. I get to make a beanbag then. Oh, wow, skeleton in a beanbag. Oh, God. So back to the original thing though. Are you guys excited over? That's a stupid question. Like, what would have you preferred? Would you have preferred that they went with the little tiny, tiny bows, or went with half darts? I mean, Adventure Force is coming out with half darts. Don't you feel like Nerf should have been like half darts? Oh look, an Nexus Pro. Oh cool, half darts. We will do half darts instead of being like we're gonna make a whole new thing of dart that's not a whole new thing and just let it go and roll the dice and gamble. The only German single I know is David Hasselhoff. Yeah, I am the Hasselhoff. Do not hassle the Hoff. Do not hassle Hoff. I feel like they missed the mark on that. They could have went with the half darts, but then again, they would have been up on competition for the market. So maybe they got maybe the Hyper is going to do Hyper League. Uh, put old friend Joker out of business here. So it's a possibility. They're going to come after Joker and be like, nope, it's going to be Hyper League now. I'm going to do that, which would be irritating. All kinds of irritating. Like I said before, I'm very much of a doomsayer. Rammstein. Yeah, God. These guys are nuts. Where's the lead singer? I wonder how he did. He contracted COVID. You guys, I doubt. We got the new Ultras coming out, the Pinpoint Ultras. God, I don't know. They had better. They had better do something like. add weight to them, or we fix the ailerons, or something like that. Put a hole in them. I mean, ugh. Oh yeah, it would be great to see them fix the Elite. We keep going with that. Well, they're doing whatever Zombie Strike does. That needs to. I get. I feel that Nerf is kind of overextending themselves. That's an interesting point, Vargas. Maybe the foam balls are more cost effective. And if you think about it, they don't have to be done in two parts. It's one part. It's a two-part mold poured in, cured, popped open. That's it. You get the darts. It's probably an injection mold, so it's technically like a two-part, I guess. Technically, it could be a two-part mold. Oh, there's no molding line, so I'm not exactly sure how the darts are made. But then they have to be cut to length, and uh, it's probably an extruder, probably extruded. That's probably how the darts are made under an extrusion. I'll have to check that out. But then they have to mold the dart heads, which is a two-part mold, and then have them assembled. So the ball is a lot. Would technically be could technically be cheaper to produce, which means they're really being dicks about the price then. Because if they are cheaper to produce, that's a two-part mold popped and cleaned. That is just not cool. The foam is, oh, I don't know, man. Yeah, Dino Squad Elite, Zombie Strike, the failure of the budget line, which is awful. I can believe that the cure time in the foam, because I've done things with spray foam, and I've run into cure time problem. Well, the spray foam, yeah, it could be the hell you say. I could see cure time being an issue because it's thicker, and I know from making my little beer can monsters that sometimes you don't get. Sometimes they still have a gooey center when they're done, so they don't necessarily cure. You have to make sure they cure all the way through. So yeah, I can believe the cure time would be an issue with something like that because you'd have to warehouse them just from the fact that they are a lot denser across than a Nerf dart. Huh. Still like to see how Nerf darts are made though. Well, they don't have that on the History Channel. How it's made. Nerf dart, yes. Yeah, but yeah, with the what is it, the Zombie Strike line and Dino Squad line. And don't get me wrong, Dino Squad's a cool ass idea. I mean, that's awesome. But that's not something that's gonna keep going on forever. That's gonna be a couple of things, and they're gonna do something strange with it, and it's gonna go alien. It's gonna go Alien Menace line, which they did give us one or two good blasters. That rotating drum thing was not the big weird one, but the drum shot thing was actually pretty good. I would have liked to have seen them continue with the Rebel line. That was a good idea, but they started getting really. They just kept making more and more bows. Oh, more and more bows, and they were garbage. I get it. I get it. Yeah, stupid. Uh, whatever catching fire thing was on there. I just, you, oh god, just not gonna happen. They kept doing that, which was ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe I've just reached the end of being an old man and been like, this is a time where it's no good anymore. Like stuff's good. It's like I said, it's funny to watch this much change in a relatively short amount of time. I mean, I got into this the Midnight Maverick was the thing. This is when I got into this, and now we got things that make the. I mean, the Maverick used to be the be all end all sidearms, and now the Maverick is garbage. Screams at cloud, and then screams at cloud. Mulan bow, Mulan bow. Oh, I wonder if that's any good. I had a friend of mine that used to destroy us with the Kung Fu Panda one, which was really hard to find. It was a shame. The Kung Fu Panda bow, that thing was brutal. It was like one of the marshmallow bows, just on steroids. I had one of those somewhere at one point. I don't have one anymore. Anyway, yeah, for the Divergent series. I would like to see more of the of that Dude Perfect bow. I know a kid that used one in a Nerf war when he pinned it in Philly. He was quite a quick preference with it. He figured out that if he shot straight up into the air, because it made this giant whistling sound, which is, awesome. Shot straight up in the air, when the whistling sound started getting louder, you would look up. You didn't want to, but you knew you had to look up. And as soon as you'd look up, he would shoot you with another arrow. And I really hate to admit it, that it worked a lot better than I thought that tactic was going to. Oh, Boomco was awesome with some of that weird stuff. The only thing that killed them was the fact that they weren't cross compatible, and maybe the market wasn't quite ready for a second competitor to Nerf, because at the time Adventure Force and stuff were just kind of getting their footings. And I was no, I was on a Busby bandwagon years ago, saying that these guys had something that came out with. I mean, God, they came out with the Arizona Punisher, for God's sake. It's a Gatling gun. Ah. And then Tommy 20s. God, I love Tommy 20s. The things like flywheel. Those old flywheel blasters were the bomb. And then they started making springers, because flywheelers were not cool to make. And then Nerf started making flywheelers, and they started making springers. And all of a sudden, it was all cool again. Yeah, you never hear the one that gets you, but the problem was you could hear it. You hear that one that was coming down. You knew you were going to look up. You didn't want to look up, but you knew you had to look up. And like, you could move to get yourself clear of fire, but if you moved again, you tried to move, he'd stop you. So you were pegged usually by, because he didn't just do it himself; he was paired with somebody. So if you try, somebody had you under fire, like stories of the Nerf wars. I remember it was after the monorail had came out. It was getting near that fall. Monorail came out. This is the same war with the boats. It was that year, and we're at the park, and my monorail had gotten jammed, of course. And the park ranger came over, and he had a wrench, multi-tool, and he saved it. He pulled the dart out because I tried to get out with a stick, and the stick got jammed. As the dart had flipped over, and so I'm standing up against the tree with my monorail, and I get these guys are moving in, and they have full auto rapid strikes, and they are just tearing. I'm up against a tree, up against the back of a tree with my monorail, and my buddy, damn, I forgot his name is. Where's he killed all the time? He's over here, and he's up against a tree. He only had like a Boomco blaster because he was going full sniper and just picking people off, but he liked to get in close so he get slaughtered. I kept telling him to stay back, and pick stuff. He likes to get in close with a single shot, which I whatever. I mean, it's the way you play. It's the way you play, and he's definitely effective because he's fast. So I can't say anything bad about it. I'm up against this tree, and I'm out of darts, and the darts are just smacking the back of the tree, just boom, 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 just flying off left and right. And I'm standing there with my with my trusty monorail, like shoving darts up the back of it. And then, like, he's like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "I live for this shit." Just come out from behind the tree, and all I can picture in my brain, it was like some Schwarzenegger motherfucker up against the back, and he's stuffing shells in the shotgun, and the bullets from the bad guys are just rattling off the bar in front of him. He turns around and is like, manages to like Stallone the entire thing away. Needless to say, I was gunned down. Monorail, 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 monorail. Yeah. Ain't no monorail here, never was. Monorail Cafe. I want to look up the Milan Bow. Well, unless anybody has any pressing news, it's probably going to be the end of the stream for tonight. As I got to get up and go to bed tomorrow. Check out my Cabro's channel today, not tomorrow. Oh my God. Or he'll get you. The Reaper will get you. Oh, his battery's dead. What a shame. He farts. That's why his face is an ass. It's disappointing. The Green Ripper. Stop for that haircut. Oh, yeah, haircut. Haircut, a real job. All right, guys. Before I completely peter out on nothing, thank you for joining me on tonight's stream. I may end up doing another one later Saturday or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I go to work on Sunday early, so probably not Saturday. Maybe I'll hop on tomorrow and discuss something else as we find more about the hyper rounds and how awful they're going to be and screw everything up in the hobby. Just gonna be horrible. Yeah, ranting, raving, stupid, nothing intelligent. Should relabel all my live broadcasts as nothing intelligent. North Carolina Bench, please contact me when you're there. If you already have it, my phone just didn't make a noise yet. I'll figure that out. And thank you for joining me, everybody in the chat. You have yourselves a good evening, day, or whatever time zone or place that you're at. And remember, Clowny's watching. Clowny's watching a stream. Ew. Gross. Nasty.